I mean, it's free.
Oh no, you're just turning on me. What's going on here? I went down there to the bottom of the perimeter. You too. And I punched Hex in the back, and he started looking around. He couldn't find me because I flew away. And he just pulls his bow on me like I committed like a super big felony or something. Hello, I'm Upstick. Welcome to episode 22 of BlockHeads. Hey, we got a flying beginning to the episode. I came back over here to the Nether farm just to do some fixing because the flying machines got out of order. It was either Hex or myself. We had left the area, unloaded the machine, and these flying machine just kind of stopped operating. So it is all good now. It's functioning. And then I did some additional patchwork on the sides, which I've still got to come back and put in some glass. But yeah, I started just kind of messing around with the farm today and just done some swiping. Got a couple of wither skulls, and very nice. And in the meantime, after I had built this farm, Etsmine had said that he built a module for consolidation, so you can have them all together in one column coming down to the center, and this is the optimal height to stand for the spawning. So you're going to see a lot more mobs coming through than what you would originally see from me standing on that beam or on top of the farm. And of course, I need to get a looting 3 sword. I've got a looting 2. I've got a couple of those wither skulls, but I need more. I need more power. That's what it comes down to. So something kind of crazy. My first enchant is a looting 2 and a sharpness 3. And we just combine that with our sword. And there's our looting 3. Our first enchant. I'm so lucky, but it's going to take a lot because, yeah, 31 levels. Ooh, the sword is freaking maxed out. The sound of power. It sounds great. Lots of power. So to see the second module for Etsmine's farm in full effect, I came over to Rider MC just to check it out. Now, I did take some of their gunpowder and maybe some of their paper, but I don't think they'd mind too much. It's only half a stack and they have quite a bit of resources. But I'm going to go over to the Nether. Let's see if we can find it real quick. Portal should be right here. Sweet. Head on over and look at it. Now, talk about a beauty. Oh, this thing's ready to use. It's just packed full of mobs where it's a skyblock world. And it's got a couple of different flying machines underneath it, consolidates them into this column, and they fall in that 3x3, which is just awesome. I cannot forget to turn this thing off because I don't want to break it. Etsmine will be like, what in the world's going on with you, man? Coming in here, breaking my farms. So if we were to turn this on, they should all start coming through the drop chamber. Might do a little bit of a time lapse because I think it takes a little bit. So cool to see that thing work. Oh man, look how many mobs we got. I mean, this is just, yeah, this is glorious. So probably my most favorite part is how it just throws around the mobs like they're nothing. It just dumps them. That's amazing. You don't get to see this very often in Skyblock World, so it's kind of neat for me to see it. Yeah, just push them back. Yeah, it feels so satisfying. Even made the drop tunnel a little bit bigger for magma cubes so that you can kill them. And I think the crusher works into breaking those magma cubes down so they're smaller when they get to the bottom. But man, this is insane. I mean, I bet he just gets tons and tons of drops. He's rich. Etsmine is officially rich. I think you gotta be really careful about, you know, approaching those blazes and stuff, but it doesn't even really matter. If you got some fire protection, you're good. But that's all the mobs. I mean, even the hoppers cannot pick up how many drops are coming through the system, or it's full. I want to clear that out just a little bit for him. A couple of those stone swords. I don't think he's going to be needing those. I'll dump those into the void before I leave. And I think it'd be the best time to just turn off the machine, wait here for a second to make sure it's properly shut down. I'm excited, guys. I want this on BlockHeads. It's going to be so much better. So I hop back on the BlockHeads. The site set on getting this done. I had to do a bit of conversion because Etsmine design uses a 3 wide opening with 1 platform, and I use a reverse of 1 wide opening with 3 platforms. Now I could see using that for magma cubes on a skyblock, but in my personal case, I don't think I need a lot of magma cream. I kept the main concept for the farm, so most of the design is exactly the same. It's just readjusted for the sizes. It wasn't too bad though. We got through it, and now I can get wither skulls. It may have just been me, but it seemed like replay mod was a little buggy when recording that time lapse. I'll have to look at something in the future for fixing that, but I actually had to do some cuts for the time lapse. But we are getting some wither skeletons on our farm, a bunch of pigmen, that's for sure, a bunch of them down here. I did notice that for my addition to the farm, I seem to have made a quirk. I don't know if it's necessarily a mistake, because the flying machines, they will stop at a certain point and then smother some of the mobs and kill them. As you can see, there are some drops there. It's not a major concern of mine because all the wither skeletons survive. Some of the zombie pigmen get cleared out, and then some of the blazes as well, but all the wither skeletons get dropped down the tube, and obviously it doesn't have as many spawnings as Etsmine because he's on the skyblock world. There's no other mobs around in the world, so he can spawn a whole bunch compared to what I'm spawning. I think I am spawning some... Ooh, I got a nice 3 wither skull right there. I think I am spawning some mobs in the ceiling, and there might be a couple of places inside the lava, like little ravines, that mobs are getting hung up. But to reset the spawns, I can always just fly out of the perimeter, fly back in, and it would be good to go. But I seem to be getting a pretty decent rate for wither skeletons, so I'm happy with it. I'd like to say a really big welcome to our newest member on BlockHeads. Etsmine. Welcome to the server, man. All the BlockHeads earlier in the intro, if you had seen, we were all befuddled by this villager breeder, which is very close to being finished. It's just kind of like a design we done from scratch. Mostly Etsmine's work, but hey, you know, I contributed some thought into it. And then some baby villagers going to fall into our little collection system. And this is where it gets nice of Etsmine. He thought of me. How lovely. That's so nice of him. So we got our perimeter right here, and this is where I originally intended for all the villagers to go, and going to make a like little trading hall out of it, and even the other farms to boot. I'd also like to say a really big thank you to all the people that had shown up for the Twitch live streams of me clearing this out. Oh, it was some work, but we're getting pretty close now. We've done more than half, and we've got a quarter left in this wall, along with this wall to do, so it shouldn't be so bad. This is my last rocket, so I can't really fly in there anymore. I'm going to get trapped inside the perimeter. But yes, thanks guys for showing up. We'll probably never get to our main project today because I have so much stuff to show off. We definitely will, don't worry. But anyways, remember when we had to go to the end through a tunnel that was kind of high in the Y level, wasn't even with the floor? Well, Waffle has been doing some heavy lifting. Yeah, strong Waffle. Well, what's Hex and Etsmine doing? Oh, they're offline right now. I'm just joking. I'm about to start a fire that doesn't really have any momentum to it. So anyways, this is the tunnel that I've been kind of working on. Just trying to get it lined up with the hub. We got the slab right here at center with the hub. So this is what the slab is. It's perfectly center. And then this is nice and laid out for us. We got the columns in. We've got to do a little bit more decor to it. And that's going to look like a nice tunnel once we're done. But right now, it's looking a little trashy. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to do some texture variation for the columns just because it's a little bit too repetitive. And do some ceiling work, might go a little bit deeper to make it look bigger. And get rid of these slabs because guests, don't you just hate them? So this project might be a little bit more interesting than what I was doing at the Nether hub. You remember behind the castle from last episode, we had the medieval tavern area? Well, Hex had seen that and he said, try to incorporate some of that within these castle walls and try to do some environment building. So I've been working on it, chipping away, but he has also done a drawbridge design that I really like. I like this angle, and he's got like the structure, because a lot of people will just make like a drawbridge straight, like it doesn't really have any angles to it, and I think this looks really nice. Looks kind of realistic, honestly. He's going to do a little bit more terraforming, I think, for what's going on right here, these stone bridges. Anyways, let's head inside. Now, most of this work that I've done was on twitch.tv/MrWafflestick, shameless self-plug. Come over and hang out sometime. Maybe you can help me incorporate some of these designs I've been working on. If we were to come inside, yes, here we are. Beauty. It's a beauty. Really. I've actually got a lot of retexturing to do. I've got a lot more building to incorporate. It feels a little bit small right here, like this house in this area, so I might want to do some more verticality builds behind that, or do something with it. I want to make it feel like you're enclosed in this area. And I think this building does a pretty good job of filling in the empty space that's on this side. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with this tower. The problem I have with building is I improv all of this building, and then I don't have a purpose for all of the previous buildings that I've done. Anyways, I'm going to probably put a house up here, and it's not going to be like a watchtower, but it's kind of a watchtower. It's kind of hard to explain. But this is like a hunter's house, the journeyman hunter or woodsman, and you know, he sells all of his wares. I think most of these professions are going to be journeymen. They're not going to be like masters. Like in the castle, we have the master of armor and all of that good stuff. So they get like the royal accommodations, as one would say. This, I'm not. I love the way it's laid out, but I don't know what it is. But yeah, of course, this is armor right here. I don't know what to do with this either. So I'm going to have to fill in the rest of that, do some more retexturing for the floor. Try to get to a point where everything's very pleasing to look at before we exit on this side. So a little bit more work to do in this area, but hey, we're pretty close to having a nice main setup. So originally this episode was going to be a villager trading hall, but I got time constraints and stuff, and I just thought of something else that BlockHeads needs. A wolf farm. Hey, yeah, we need all the colors for all the building that's occurring over near the castle, and just other tidbits they're going to be using wolf for. And, you know, I think I'm going to go into creative, maybe lay out a design, and then build it here on BlockHeads. It should be a lot of fun. I think there's sheep that spawn in the mountain biome, right? I mean, I think I've seen one over here, if I weren't mistaken. Ah, there we go. Yes. Very nice. So let's head over to creative, see if we can get something built, and then we'll translate it to BlockHeads and be able to use it for our building. So after a time of tinkering, I think we got our version sussed out, though there are some quirks for aesthetics that make this design a little weird when it comes to the redstone portion of things. A lot of people will go with like the singular module or even the double module that we found on Rider MC. Ooh, however, for the sake of aesthetics, Waffle coming in with that quad modular design, which I think looks much better than having this a little bit longer than the actual display in the background. So we have the 16 block spectrum with storage. This is all evenly built, so it's going to look pretty nice once you have it in place. And I made it a very strong point to make everything pretty practical. So here's one module with 4 sheep in it, and they're all being farmed with their corresponding colors. We know which colors this compartment holds, and all the sheep should be in their correct positioning. And here's some other trapdoors that have access to the dispensers underneath, so we can fill those up in the future. I just thought it was a really cool design, and the only quirk that I really have to worry about is the redstone dust maybe initiating a dispenser on another module, which isn't a major concern. So, you know, we got a sheep here getting sheared. Obviously, the durability on those shears are going to get used, but if you don't have a sheep there to shear, or if he has been sheared, then you're not going to use durability. Might want to do some extra testing to make sure that a sheared sheep cannot take the durability of shears. It's like an alliteration. Here is my design without all the nice blocks surrounding it. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, nothing to it, and I absolutely love it. Oh, and for science, shearing a sheep that doesn't need to be sheared doesn't cost durability. Upon returning to BlockHeads, I think the layout's going to look best if it's kind of sunk into the hillside right here behind this portal. It's perfectly center with it, so I think it'll look good there. And in the future, we do plan to expand this so that the modern aesthetics is going to surround this entire area, so that's going to be nice. And we need to give Wafflestick a little bit of a workout. He seems kind of lazy today. So I'm going to be honest, I was a little bit iffy when it came to this design, if I was going to like it or not. But after building it, oh, do I love it. It looks great. The color spectrum looks really nice. Really like all the color pop over here, and it's going to be fun to play with once we get the modern facades over in this direction. But another thing I love, and that is maintenance. Oh, it's beautiful. So you can just get in here, get in the dispenser, and then you have the organizational wool, which is so nice. So if I want to check out the white wool sheep, it's right there. If I want to check out the lime green sheep, it's right there. Very nice for troubleshooting if something just occurs and you need to do a little bit of an investigation. So, you know, it's kind of nice. This lever, that will shut off the whole system. So if we unload the chunks, then we don't have to worry about the minecarts being all weird and not wanting to go in their directions or whatever. So sometimes they'll get stuck if you unload. Here's the sorter, which I haven't figured out yet because I haven't got all the assortments of wool I need. And that is being collected down here in this temporary chest I've got right here at the end of the dispensing chain. Beautiful. It's so beautiful. Now, I might want to do a little bit of troubleshooting when it comes to the purple wool. I've noticed I only got one, and I know it comes out of this one right here. So that's the great thing about the organizational wool. You know where it's at, what's going on, and you know what to look for when it comes to troubleshooting. And yeah, I'm gonna have to look at that, unfortunately. Sad face. I love purple wool, it's like my favorite type. A big thank you to Hex for helping me pretty much build this farm. He was a powerhouse when it came to helping me get sheep, also putting them in their pits, and just about everything that was generally designed for this farm. Thank you, man, appreciate it. And my shutoff system is back here, very janky, a little bit messy, maybe not ideal, but it'll do in a pinch. I mean, this just shuts off the system. That just runs into a repeater for the comparator clock that's detecting items within the hopper so that it can put them into the dispenser or the dropper. A lot to go through, a lot of compact redstone for these segments. And man, did I compact. That looks pretty nice. So everything's pretty much in place. You know, I'm bantering on. You know how it works. We got the wool. Just gotta wait for all of this to kind of fill up and get our assortments ready. And then I could do the item sorter, which is something I want to probably do off camera because it might take a little bit, maybe an AFK session or something. Oh, you guys proud of me? But I think that's going to be about it for today's episode, guys. Hope you did enjoy watching. We'll see you next episode. Have a fantastic day.